right? The fourth piece I want to talk about how to build a team. Build a team is actually extremely difficult. In ideal situation, you want to have a team consist of four critical skill set. You want to have a team have the really analytical thinkers is really a thinker, think through the issue, choose the issue. Then you want someone who could really get things done, and that's the execution. Then you're someone who is very personal and really know how to talk to people, empathy, and all this great stuff, and cater to people's emotion. Especially, with the younger generation, they like to be tempered a little bit. And then, of course, you need someone who knows how to sell, right? To market the hell out of it and sell anything that whatever you make, they could sell to the customers. That's the ideal situation. Okay, so when I acquired a company, that was a turnaround situation. I was brought in by a friend of mine to help his 15-year-old company. It was in trouble. It's a CRM company. And then I went there as a consultant in August 2018. And September 1st, 2018, I became a CEO. And then I bought the company in January 2019. So when I bought the company, I said, how am I going to structure the team? So basically, I first identified what the key driver of the business. For our CRM software, number one, it has to be generate a lead source of sales. We have good products. We have really a good customer support, and it has support our customer use our software. Of course, we need new sales, and then to able to scale up the business and really get business under control. And we need management system, management know-how, right? So I kind of look around, and basically I said, okay, I need to get a team that could cover all these key drivers. So for technology, for product, I recruit a guy who's only 30. This guy is brilliant. And he went to UW, undergraduate computer science, paid himself through Columbia University for a master's degree. He gets MIT, media-led management, MIT, free of charge. So he was Microsoft, Google. And this is the guy unique is, but I realized this guy is something who is very good at solving any problem you give to him, but do not ask him to manage a day-to-day repetitive stuff. So, but he is the guy who helped me to create a lot of, I said, this is a problem, I'm going to solve it. He solved it. Then I need someone who is very good with understand our product, come with a new product, and manage the customer relationship. And then I need a guy who knows how to do the sales. So therefore, I myself as a CEO. So basically, we have a team of 4 people. I made everybody shareholder. And then we run our business. We cover each other. We help to complement each other's skill set. So that's how I look at the key driver, build our team at 2019. So, but what happens if you do not have the ideal team? I think this view from Don Rumsfeld. He actually a very good quote. Politically, I don't agree with him, but I like his quote. He said that, especially in Iraq War, he said, you go to war with the army you have, not the army you might want or wish to have a later time. I have a similar story when I was running a publicity company in Florida. The analogy I use is like this. Imagine you have to go from Miami to New York City. Ideally, you take a flight, pay $300 or $400, and 3 hours later, you're in New York City, right? But what happens if you have no money? The only option you have to walk north 10 miles, there's a bicycle. So you walk 10 miles, get the bicycle first. And then you have to ride the bicycle for 100 miles north to get a motorcycle. And then after riding the motorcycle for about 200 miles, there's an automobile there. And then you take an automobile drive to Atlanta. And then from Atlanta, you have money to buy an airplane. Running startup is very similar to what Rumsfeld said, what my example shows. You only have resources in a certain time. You just suck it up, go with what you got at the time until you accumulate more resources. That is critical for startup. But for a lot of people coming from Microsoft, Amazon.com, and Google, you have all the resources you want. You're always waiting for perfect opportunity before you start. But that's not how startup works. And as part of the team, one thing Chris talked about is why culture is so important, right? I want to give you two examples. I have a personal experience with this thing. I was a consultant to a company, and actually this company that was about almost 10 years ago. They had $300 million revenue, publicly listed it, but they have been established about 10 years. What's interesting intrigued me was that 4 founders and all 5 original employees still in the company after 10 years. Think about what it takes to keep original 9 people in the same company for 10 years. Think about their culture. Think about their bond, right? My personal example, in 1999, I went to work for a venture capital group, technology whole company for one of the wealthy guy in Hong Kong. And during our talk, he promised to give me X amount of option, right? But I joined. He does not want to honor the deal. So I left after a year. What's interesting, he made the same promise to other people. And then most people left and his business collapsed within about a year or two. So part was timing, part was he did not really honor his promise and build a culture that people would love. And I used to work at IBM. I was benefiting from IBM because I paid for my master's degree in also MBA at Columbia University. But during at the time when Lou Gerstner came in 1992, he later on, of course, he turned around IBM. He became a very successful turnaround, and this is how he defined culture at IBM. He said that when I come to see in my time at IBM, culture is not just one aspect of the game, it is the game. You think about a company like IBM and Goldman Sachs. At the end of the day, IBM, Goldman Sachs, Google, Facebook, or Microsoft is actually no more than a collection of smart people or not smart people, collection of people to creating value. So the question is that how do you use this kind of thing to apply to your startup, right? And I just said it to one of my partners yesterday. He said, "You look at our company. Our company is not too big. You include contractor and our part-time employee. We have less than 20 people. But what's interesting is we have a collection of what I call a misfit. We have a collection of misfit. Each one they're brilliant. Each one they're very capable. But together, the question: how do you get a bunch of misfit together and make something work? That is the art of a startup, right? Because in the Chinese phrase, it's "同床异梦." There's a lot of things we said, same dream, different bed. That's what happened to his last startup. And how do you build a culture? Realistically, it's really, in the end of the day, culture consists of physical culture. What's your value? What's your culture? What's your integrity? And greed is motivating people. Ambitious and paranoia. Intel CEO Andy Grove said paranoia will survive. It's really how do you take all these things individual thing, combine a shared value, shared culture, and in a day create a sustainable corporate culture, create teamwork, and have to perform it. If not, it's going to be pretty difficult for you to build a sustainable business, right? Okay, the 5th issue I have is that what kind of structure you have, because most people don't talk about this kind of, it's awkward to talk about it. I'm going to give you 2 examples. Example number 1, I have been using my own kind of investment in a business advisory service. And the idea I want is I want to operate without any burden. I don't want any interference with anybody, and I also have the right skill set to do all the things I want. So I want to keep this for long term. As a result, I do not want any shareholder. So that's one type of business. The second type of business is, I mentioned before, I bought a software company. It's a turnaround situation. I need to fix it really fast in order to save it, right? And I could not do everything by myself. I need to depend on others to operate to create value. And be very frank, I don't mind to turn around in a few years. I sell it, and I could control 100% of the company very cheaply. I could bought it cheaply, but instead, I structure it differently. So you see these 2 different scenarios. One is that I don't want anybody to tell me what to do. I'm happy with myself, one-man band. On the other end of the spectrum is I need help to create value, save the company. So how do you structure it? For my one-man band company. My wife and I own 100%. We're no outside shareholder. I don't have to answer to anybody, right, except my wife. So she's not into the business. She's going to say MBA, right? So in other way, I create in such a way, I create 100% of the business. I only end up 45% of the business because I want other people have even more skin in the game, so they can work hard and help to save this company and also help to push the company. We did save the company. First year, before I went in, we were losing money like crazy. And then first year we made money, and second year we made money, and third year even under COVID-19. We were able to cut our costs by 40%, and we'll be very profitable in 2000. We were profitable in 2020, and this year we're going to do better. So the idea is that how do we structure different business that cater to the need of that business? And at the end of the day, it's something we think about. The issue to be concerned about structure is these are the key issues, but it's not right or wrong, but you got to think about it. Number one is how do structure control? How do you structure the ownership? And then how do you put the smart people together? Because the reality is smart people do not want to work for anybody for long term. So how do you make them be your partner, right? And do you want to focus on short term or long term? I mentioned about that. How to structure the incentive in such a way that there's skin in the game for people. They come in, they not only work for you as employee, they as a partner, they can work hard to create value together. So of course, the idea is how do you create accountability, right? Because the owner is different mindset from employee. So finally, is how do you separate ownership and management? Like I tell all my partners, they say, look, you're a partner, you're a shareholder, but you can still get fired if you don't get perform. So I want you to think about this kind of issue, especially think about in the context. I learned this from Stanley Shi, the founder of AALA Computer, when I helped him to launch a product about 10 years ago, worked with him for 2 years, is he have this phrase actually I use since then, it's 利他而利己. That means how do you benefit other before benefit yourself? Think about the context of that. If you hopefully you find the right people, you benefit other people, then other people will create more value for you and you benefit from the long term. So that's kind of mindset we need to create. James,